Welcome to Thank God You're Not My Child. Remember, it's a comedy podcast where I talk about whatever I want to. And this week, we're going to talk about traveling with kids. Yes, that thing nobody wants to do, but everybody needs to do. And I don't mean airplanes or trains or cruise ships. I mean cars, road trips, the Grand Canyon. That's all I could think of. The Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls. There's no Rocky Mountains. There's so many more things to see in the US than that. So much more. Okay, see, I got a brain fart thinking of all the things in the US to see. There are so many things in the US that you can road trip to see. But that's not what we're talking about this week. You need to get in those cars with your kids, people. Show them the United States of America. My mom and dad took us for a few places. I just realized recently that we might not even been middle class. So long vacations, you know what? I don't think we took a real vacation till I was like out of the house and married. Fishing was our vacation, weekends away and all. I mean, because who gets to take road trips? So yeah, when I was little, there wasn't a lot of road trips, but the car that we did take like back and forth to McAllister from Longview, Texas, because for years after we moved to Texas from Oklahoma, we had to go back for those Sunday dinners at grandmother's house. You know where everybody came? You know those Sunday dinners? Yeah, we used to travel that 3.5 hours in LTD Crown Victoria, 2-door, baby blue with the white top and white seats, people. Yeah. My spot in that car was the back seat, the back door, the back rear view mirror. And I'm not bullshitting you. Can you imagine seeing that now? Can you imagine seeing that now? Can you imagine what you'd do? Can you imagine how fast your kid would be taken away from you if you saw that now? Woo! Times have changed. Yep. They're still good though, but times have changed. So there wasn't a whole lot of traveling. But when I had kids, my in-laws at that time were 1,000 miles away. They lived in Indiana, in the upper part of Indiana, up towards closer, like 4 miles from Michigan. And we lived in East Texas, which was about 1,000 miles. And so if we had any time off, like a week vacation, when my son was little, even before we had my daughter, we traveled by car 1,000 miles to see them. And once we moved to Indiana, after I had my daughter, we traveled 1,000 miles to see my family. That was our only vacations. And when my kids got older, that was when we decided we wanted to do something. And my sister friend used to be my sister friend. Now she's an acquaintance. Divorce happens. It happens sometimes. It's okay. Still love her to death. Some people just can't be around when you're changing your life, and that's okay. But you know what? This is about traveling with kids, not about my past. Past is in the past. You know what I'm saying? So my kids were pretty good at traveling. I knew what to expect. It was still when you had crayons in the seat because, they had crayons, coloring papers, matchbox cars. There was, rubber bands. I even went as far as to try freaking fucking rubber bands, just something, but anything. But my kid, Justin, also knew, even at 2, we're going to stop. We're going to stop in like this far. We're going to stop 3 Power Rangers and we're going to stop and eat, okay? 3. Now, he's not watching Power Rangers because we have no way in a van to watch Power Rangers. But he understands that 3 shows. See what I'm saying? You got to know how to talk to a kid no matter what age. But you can teach kids what to expect. You can. So if you've got a newborn and you're traveling with them, first of all, newborn eats all the fucking time. So you're going to be pulling over. Because even if you sit back with them, there's still going to be times you have to pull over. So let's just go ahead and fucking put that in there. Okay? Just fucking put that. I got to feed my newborn baby. So don't come at me with, but you can also keep the same routines. You can keep the same routines that you have at home. You can keep them on a road trip. Dinner, bath, movie, reading the book to them. Everything you can do in a car. You might not be right there, but you can do it in the car. Okay? So expectations of what's happening. That's what we're going to do. My kids traveled like a pro. And I also knew that we wasn't really going to have a problem. I mean, they knew that we weren't going to stop till we get gas. If they needed to go to the bathroom, there was always exceptions. I was not a cruel person because sometimes you just have to go. If you're potty training, bring a potty chair. Just bring it. Bring some bleach wipes. Bring something. There's so much advanced things now from when my kids were little that there's no excuse. There's just no excuse for those. Start with a 2 or 3 hour trip, maybe even an hour if you haven't done anything. But you can also start on daily trips. You know what I mean? And there it was. That might have been the first time when I edited them, I'll see. Because if that was my first time over 6 minutes into this episode, that was pretty good. I'm getting pretty good, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, there's so many things you can do whenever you get them in to take them to daycare. Let's say daycare is 10 minutes away. There is not one screen that needs to be turned on 5, 6, 15 minutes. You know, if you're taking them bright and early in the morning, it's a beautiful day. Let them look at the cows. Let them look at the cars passing. Oh, bus, look, there's a bus on the way to school. Oh, when you get big, are you going to ride a bus? No, Mama's going to take you in the dropout line. There's so many things you can talk about on the way. There doesn't need to be a screen on all the time on a short trip. That's just one of my shit soapboxes. You do you. You do you. I can travel with you and show you how, but you do you. You know? My kids know. And I do think that my grandkids are pretty good. I think they have grandparents. My grandkids have grandparents. Like 3 hours is one pawpaw, one's all the way in Florida, one's in Alabama, one grandma, and then I'm in Oklahoma. So my grandkids can travel quite a bit, and they're pretty good at it. There's still always going to be fits and issues and fighting because people are people. Kids are human. Did you know kids are human? Did you? It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think that they're human. I know. There might have been a gummy taken today. You know, that is what I take, the really good gummies for my pain. Yeah, you know, it's just how life is. My kids were pro. I really think they'd have gold medals in traveling. I really think right now they would have gold medals in traveling because, well, they're my kids. They traveled good as young. I think they'll travel good as old. So, yeah. So if you're just heading to Walmart in a 20-minute, let your kid look at things around. If you're on an hour trip, okay, maybe if it makes things easier. But come on. Maybe know the things that they're fixing to pass. I mean, I used to go to Springfield so much from Forsyth for daycare, for roller derby daycare and everything that I did, that I knew all of the billboard signs. I knew all of the stuff that if you make that drive over time, you can say, hey, have you seen the octopus on the billboard yet? Hey, have you seen the, scarecrow? Have you seen because I knew them and you know them. You look at them. Or if their favorite color is yellow, see if you can find a yellow car before we get to school. You see what I'm saying? There's so much you can do. There's so much you can do now. So put your fucking kids, they're human too, in those cars and take some road trips. Take some pictures of the road trips, of your kids being silly, of your husband sleeping and the drool coming out. Because you know what happens. Of your wife. You might not want to get the drooling of your wife. A lot of women wouldn't like that. But yeah, enjoy life. Go out and enjoy. Anywhere you can drive. Anywhere. Like the Alamo. Go down and show your kids the Alamo. You see, I remembered one. The Alamo. Okay, so just between us, this driving Mr. Clift is one of the easiest things I think I've ever done. It also has a lot to do with that I'm really good on the trips. I'm really good on setting up the trips. He is good on planning them. He knows where we have to go. I was good when my kids were little on what treats they needed, what to go smoothie. And he works sometimes when we're driving those 2, 3, 4 hours. And so I know he's going to have his computer. So, he can hook it up. That's all done. There's an extra light there. I even has went as far as to put a little square, rectangle pillow in the car because sometimes I have to tell him, you need to rest. We have an hour and a half left to go and you've done nothing but work. Ooh, you need to rest. When you're got to stand up and get your pillow, put your seat back. Because, even sometimes your man needs a nap. You know what I mean? Let that brain and driving. But this has been one of the easiest things I've done, mainly because I don't hurt at all when I'm driving. And here lately, just walking. I mean, I'm not even for sure if my legs are going to be there. It's like jelly. I mean, we're trying to figure out what's wrong and all. It's nerve damage. We know what it is. But just walking, sometimes it looks like I'm drunk. And I'm like, dude, I have a beer every once in a while now, but that's all I can pretty much do anymore. So yeah, driving Mr. Clift is one of the easiest things I do. Except for those assholes that I drive around. There are some good drivers out there, but boy, those really asshole drivers out there, they make driving hard. My gosh. I think some people drive around like they don't even realize people are driving too. I think once they get in their car, it's kind of like I'm in my car. I'm gonna do what I fuck I want. You're gonna move over. I'm playing my favorite song. I'm listening to my favorite podcast. Fuck you. Nobody else is in the world because they drive like that. Really? We're gonna move on to a listener story. I got this listener story and I'm reading this email and I'm like, holy shit, did this really happen? I mean, I'm not saying you're a liar, but holy shit, all you can do is laugh later. You know? That's just how it happens. You can't believe some things that happen to some people. So yeah, so let's get started. So this girl, I'm gonna say girl woman, this mama, she's driving and it's like 10:30 at night and the husband's asleep. The two kids are asleep and she needs to pee. It's just awesome. So she's going and she's going and she's going, and she's already hit the point where if I got off an exit, I could maybe pee on the side of the road and not wake anybody up. You know, you know when you're that desperate. You know how it is. But she was scared too. She just knew I'm going to turn into somebody's yard. You know, it's nighttime. And if you remember, humans are the boogeyman. So she just kept going and she kept trying to tell her bladder, you don't have to go pee. You don't have to go pee. And you know how that works. You know how that works. So yeah. So she's going and all of a sudden she starts seeing these billboards. And she's like, oh, I've always, Bucky's. First of all, Bucky's has some of the nicest bathrooms ever. If you haven't stopped at Bucky's to see their bathrooms, what the fuck are you waiting for? So she pulls up right and forward, and she figured when she pulled up that her husband would wake up. But he didn't. The kids were sound asleep, and she goes, I gotta fucking pee. So she thought her husband, being 6'5", 85 pounds, that's what she said, even sleeping, nobody's gonna fuck with their car. So she walked into Bucky's, and she goes pee. She glances out afterwards, and she thought, I'm gonna look a little around a little bit because they're sleeping. What's the harm? And if he wakes up, he'll know that I'm in Bucky's. Yeah, So she looks around. She ends up buying a couple of things. And those Bucky balls, I don't know what they call them. Are they called beaver nuggets? Oh my gosh, it's like crack. So she walks out of Bucky's and her fucking car is gone. She looks around. She doesn't see her husband. She doesn't see the kids. Her fucking car is gone. Her fucking car is gone, people. Her family is gone. She might have some fucking beaver nuggets, beaver balls, or whatever you call them, but her family's gone. So she walks around. She looks. She's thinking, he is kind of an asshole. If he woke up, he might have moved it around. So she walked around and she walked around. She looked far out into the parking lot. She walked around and she couldn't. So she finally walked back into Bucky's. Took her forever because they're fucking big stores. Took her forever. Find somebody that could help her. And they finally called the police. And the police walks in, talking to her. She's describing to them what it looks like. And she just can't believe this. They were just on their way to Disney World. That's the first problem. I don't like Disney. I think it's too much money for what you get. So she's been crying. She didn't even have her fucking phone because she was just going to the bathroom. So the police think, you know what? We're going to call your phone. Let's call your phone. Fuck, let's call your phone. She calls the phone and there's no answer. So they get nervous. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse. Then she realized, while looking around, that maybe the store was so big, she went out the wrong fucking door. Maybe she went out the wrong fucking door. So she looked at the policeman. She says, I was parked out that door. And the policeman was like, yes, ma'am. She goes, I haven't looked out that door. So they walked over to the door. They glanced out. And there, 4 cars over, was her sleeping husband of a giant, her 2 kids. And they were all sound asleep in a running car. Been running for 45 minutes because that's how long it took her. This bitch got lost in Bucky's and called the police because she couldn't find her car. Girl, thanks for sending that email in, because holy shit. All you can do is laugh at yourself. Girl, I'm going to call you the bitch. You the bitch. Because if you can do that, call the police and still laugh at yourself, you're my kind of people. You're my kind of people. So yeah. So remember where you fucking park. Bucky's is a big fucking place. So yeah. Well, I think I've told you everything I know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've probably told you more than I don't know. Yeah, that always comes out a little weird. Okay, let's try that again. All right. Think I've told you everything I know. Until next time, thank God you're not my child.